Whispers in the margins, codes between the lines, typewriters in the shadows, ticking back in time. Invisible assistants, running covered schemes, building whole new worlds while we chase our dreams. We're agents in the pages, automation spies, sending secret signals through the starlit skies. Stories crackle open like a safe at night. Our missions are the chapters hidden in the light. Ink becomes encryption, paper turns to glass. Every prompt a password, slipping through the past. Circuits hum like footfalls on a midnight street. Manuscripts assemble perfect and discreet. Shadow pens are moving, the dossier's alive. Blueprints on the table, watch the novels thrive. Every plot's a puzzle, every twist a key, unlocking secret futures only writers see. We're agents in the pages, automation spies, sending secret signals through the starlit skies. Stories crackle open like a safe at night. Our missions are the chapters hidden in the light.
Oh, I'm muted. Hi, everybody. This is my first time soloing YouTube right now, so there's a little bit of quirks. I had to figure out a whole bunch of stuff. I hope you guys can hear me fine and dandy. So first of all, I am Cassie. You probably know me if you've messaged Dean at futurefictioncabinet.com. I'm usually, me or April are usually the ones to respond. I've done a couple of classes. Perfect, Carlo. I'm glad. I've done a couple of classes at the Future Fiction Academy, specifically with thrillers. I was the one to create the horror dossier as well. So hopefully after this whole large thriller series that I have planned, we're going to get into horror as well. So let's get to it. So the idea that I have with this series that I'm going to be doing on YouTube is that I am going to be doing from brainstorming, just whatever pops in my brain, to publishing through KDP. So I'm going to take you step by step with me. It's going to have some boring moments, but it's going to have some really cool moments that you guys maybe, it'll help with your brainstorming or with your future books. And I'll be using a ton of different models. I'm going to be using ChatGPT, probably. I'm probably going to be using Claude here and there, just flip flopping between those. And then I'm going to use Your First Draft for book generating and such, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a wild ride. Buckle up. So, firstly, just letting you guys know, I don't really have an estimate of how long I'm going to be live for. So, we're going to see where this takes us. But right now, I just want to brainstorm what I want to do for this thriller story. And I want to, and my idea for this story is like, I have none, basically. So I'm gonna probably use Perplexity for some research, genre research. So it'll really kind of get into the nitty gritty of step 0. So for people who have never written thrillers but want to write thrillers, like this would be a really good way to start. And then also within this series, I'm planning on doing like 3 books, but in 3 different ways. So with this one, I'm going to do Your First Draft, see how that goes. The second one, I'm thinking about doing Claude projects. And then the third one, I'm planning on using ChatGPT for. So it'll definitely be interesting. It'll give you a idea of all of these different models and using these different AI systems. So, and then you guys can we can compare and contrast as we go along as well. Um, Also, I am a pantser. Which will be interesting. So we're going to probably experiment with YFD, but right now with this session, part 1, I am planning on just doing some brainstorming. So let me share my screen. Just the Chrome tab. Give me a moment. Share. Okay. So right now I'm probably gonna try Perplexity. If Perplexity wants to load up for us. Ah, here you are. Okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do is kind of get an idea of what kind of thrillers that readers are kind of focusing on within the Amazon marketplace. What are they kind of like looking for? I know KDP is a really good source, but I'm more so. It's a really good source when you're specifically focusing on romance. When it comes to thriller and things outside of romance, it's a little bit more fuzzy because they kind of clump thriller, mystery, and suspense, but which are kind of in a sense the same thing. But if you're wanting a mystery book per se, you're gonna want to look more so under the mystery category. And then if you want to look for something more psychological, you're gonna want to go into like more so the thriller category. So I'm gonna focus on perplexity. I'm just winging this. We're learning as we go. Um, I am writer and I am. So let's try with this little prompt and see what we get from it. Okay. I should have been a little bit more specific. I was not specific. My brain automatically was thinking, oh, it knows that I'm a thriller writer. No, it does not. It does not. Perfect. Right now on Amazon, it is psychological slash domestic thrillers with intense family or relationship secrets. Excuse me. Other subgenres such as legal thrillers, organized crime thrillers, paranormal mystery thrillers. Okay, perfect. So we're going to actually focus on psychological and domestic thrillers. Let's try this. And what we'll probably do is I'm going to use this. And also, like, I'm on the free version of Perplexity. I don't use it enough to warrant paying for it. So this would be like a good thing to like play with, and it's also like free to the extent. Archetypes, tropes. Do I want to focus on settings? Settings tend to be more domestic. Types, settings, character, tropes, settings. Um, maybe. And this is just kind of more give you an idea if like this is also like good to know just for research type, um how you kind of should write a thriller in a sense. Um, but the best way to know how to write it is to read thrillers. Um, I could definitely give recommendations if people want recommendations. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Character archetypes, tropes, types of settings, writing styles. Um, etc. Let's just see how it goes from here. And I think with the free version, you get 3 researches a day, I think. Okay. Okay. This is good stuff. And I'm gonna add this to the Notion page that is the link is down below. Actually, I need to write a thumbs right here. Okay. So, oh wow, there's a lot here. Okay. It's still going. Build a constellations of settings. Okay. Export into a PDF. Okay. And then you guys will have it. File. Alrighty. While that downloads, so now we have all this information on creating psychological and domestic thrillers. This is just like the first step to just kind of get our foundation for this genre. Next, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna probably set up a tension axis, which will probably be really good to do for this genre. So, okay. I'm trying to remember this prompt or where I can find this prompt. tension. This was my horror tension axis, so don't mind it. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Can use Opus. Okay, so the prompt that I'm going to use is Elizabeth's prompt from her previous YouTube live where she talked about tension axis. It's give me the plot of a psychological domestic novel with multiple plot lines, unique characters, in using tension axis. Can you make that graph over the story up to 100% of the story? Make sure that the climax is 100% tension. Make sure let me actually reword it. The highest peak is 100% tension. Oh, I didn't realize you guys were not seeing this. My bad. So, I'm in Claude right now. Um, and I'm using Opus, what is it? 4.5. And I'm going to give you guys this prompt that I'm using. My bad, I'm sorry. And we'll see what this runs. Oh wow, this is taking a while. House that remembers. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, as you can see, it this is basically accurate. I can say this is accurate from the thriller stories that I have read. That the climax is usually at this high point at the 95% within the story. So you have this slow incline with a little bit of a decline. So you basically want to hold this tension and slowly increase. So it's basically like a slow burn of a story. So that is what the expectation is for a psychological domestic thriller. Um, and I want to download this so that we can have it. And I'm gonna put this in the notes as well. File, choose, touch graph. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty. So now we have our tension graph. We have what the concept of what is a psychological domestic thriller. Now let's go into chat. Actually, I think I want to stick with Claude. You can do this with chat. It's really up to you what you prefer. Right now, I want to kind of focus on, let's try it in Claude. I'm going to upload these files. So Claude will have this information. Let's see. What's that? Oh, I should probably see if let's see. I'm like briefly looking through to see if they have further information about psychological domestic thrillers, like what's the tendency for like their chapters. Okay, it doesn't really go in depth with like how long the so we're gonna find that information out first. So um I'm looking to write a psychological domestic thriller novel. I am looking for further information on this subgenre, such as chapter amounts, chapter, and this will kind of give you an idea of what you kind of are looking for. So like with YFD, you can only go up to 40 chapters, but the word count is going to be important because even though like with YFD, you could get 40 chapters, but you can create something like an epic within the 40 chapters, um, with a story that's like 130,000 words. Um, so it'll kind of give you like a good idea of the chapter numbers to put into YFD to like figure out, okay, this is the word count that I'm kind of looking for this story. And then when you're editing through YFD, like outside of it, this will probably end up being outside of it. You can chop up those chapters to be kind of what a psychological domestic thriller story would be. Um, Usually, psychological domestic thrillers, I believe, they tend to be really high chapter counts, but short. They're like short but high chapter counts, so they can be 40 plus, depending on how long the story is. And usually the chapters tend to be 1,500 to 2,000 words, possibly even shorter. Um, yeah, so they tend typically run between 70 to 10,000 words, with 80 to 90 being the sweet spot. Some can be short as 60, if it's fast paced and action packed, or stretched to 120. So it could potentially be an epic depending on the story. So chapter length where it gets interesting. So this is kind of interesting to know is that James Patterson, which, yeah, I would say, yeah, averages 640 words per chapter. So those are like really short chapters. I don't know how accurate this is. We would have to look into this website that's attached to it. And whether this website is accurate as well, I'm not sure. But I think that's kind of interesting that he tends to have like really short chapters, but really thick and big books, though. Um, so yeah, you can see short chapters that are around 1,500 words tend to be around 53 chapters. So median chapters are 32 and long chapters are 20. So it really depends on what you are kind of looking for in a novel. And based on just your preference and what you like if you want something that is more sharp and um, something that's more fast paced, sharp, um, and you can actually um, have short and long chapters to replicate increasing tension and decreasing tension, because when you are usually in the beginning of thrillers, you're probably going to see those longer chapters because you're at the bottom of that tension axis. So you're probably going to see the longer prose, you're probably going to see longer chapters, and then as you increase in the tension axis, you'll probably see a little that's more shorter, and then during really fast-paced, high-tension type um, scenes, you'll probably see a lot of shorter uh, sentences in the scenes to really give the reader the feel and the vibe of the tension and like reflecting within your story. So that's something that is really important to kind of keep that in mind when you're writing. Um so we're going to go into kind of creating and brainstorming ideas. I know in thrillers that We can do dual point of views. Dual point of views are very common, but singular point of views are also very common as well. Um, Female main characters tend to be the favorite um, among any other main characters, such as male. Um, I think it's just the fact that um, the higher percentage of readers are female, and females tend to, you know, also enjoy thrillers and such. So that's why I kind of think female main characters are the favorite. So I'm probably with that information, I'm probably gonna focus on that. Uh-huh. Now I'm gonna reattach. It's already attached, but I'm just reattaching anyways. Mm, yes. No, I'm just asking it to please ask questions, and instead of, let's see if it'll do it, because I don't know if it'll just give me ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's asking questions. So this is helping me brainstorm further of what I want in a story, um, and such. Like, you could obviously just be like, "Hey, just give me 10 recommendations or like 10 ideas and stuff." But I find that sometimes that doesn't inherently happen well. um so I just like to kind of hone in on what I want in a story. So it's great that, and I like when Claude asks me questions because it kind of is like a collaborator in this journey that we're going through with writing a story. So let's go through the questions. So, what is the central question driving your female main character's terror? Is this more, I am losing my mind, or how well do I know the people in my house? Or are you going for the sweep overlap where, excuse me, I enjoy when Claude swears at me. So, I don't think I can on YouTube. Um, but yeah. For both questions are, I kind of like both. I like when she feels like she's losing her mind. Do I want it to be more psychological, or do I want to be more domestic? Let's see. Okay, so what archetype feels right for your FMC? Let me see. When returning home, the isolated caregiver. Something else entirely, the anxious every woman. Easy to let gaslight, but competent in at least one area. These are, I really focus on these. Let's try this out. And there's no wrong answer. You can kind of like pick and choose and see what feels right to you and just kind of like see what you like. So there's no wrong answer. Um, I just don't really have an idea of what story I want, so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. So, what is her competence zone? Your document mentions this is crucial. Every anxious protagonist needs something they're generally good at so they don't become purely passive. Gosh, I have no clue about this competence zone. Okay. Who is the source of danger? Spouse partner with secrets, new person who infiltrated their life, someone from her past, uh, or multiple suspects. If you're doing dual point of view, who is the second perspective? Husband and antagonist, a character who ends up being a red herring. Let's go with multiple suspects. I definitely want a red herring. Story. Again. POV. Since okay, setting. Where does this take place? I like the idea of a fresh start. I don't know about you guys, but I really like the idea of a fresh start. So we're going to go with a fresh start. Alrighty, and this is diving into the situation at the start. New mother, new marriage, new move, career crisis, returning home. So let's see, what kind of transitional state do I want this character to be in? I feel like a new move, obviously with a fresh start. Maybe new career. Maybe no, maybe not new career. Maybe the spouse is a new career. Not sure. Maybe she has a family. Maybe. Thinking. What is the central lie or secret? I haven't really thought of it. The secrets in your FNC is hiding. Do you want to use alternative timelines or keep it linear? Ooh, alternating timelines. It's really interesting. What kind of twist are you aiming for? Identity twist, perception twist, complicity twist, or betrayal twist? What is the thematic core? Is this about trust and betrayal in marriage, power and control, the cost of secrets, female rage, maternal anxiety? This theme will help you stay focused when plotting all those twists. Okay, let's just go with this. This is a lot of information for Claude to take in, and I just want to see what it kind of comes up with. Okay, let's see what Claude comes up with. Okay, let me check the chat for a second. Okay. Alrighty. So, the renovation. A woman moves into her dream fixer upper only to discover the previous owner didn't actually leave. Okay, that's creepy. Premise: the FMC and her husband relocate to his architecture firm for his architecture firm partnership. They buy a foreclosed Victorian that needs massive work. FMC is unemployed for the first time in her life, throws herself into renovation, but things go wrong. Contractors find disturbing items in the walls. Neighbors hint that the previous owner, a woman, disappeared, and FMC starts receiving texts from a number that supposedly belongs to the woman. The more FMC digs into the house's history, the more she realizes her husband knew more about this property than he admitted. That seems really interesting, and I honestly like that. I'm just gonna kind of focus on the hook and premise for now. The mother in law suite. A woman's mother in law moves into their new house's attached suite, and suddenly the FMC's entire marriage is under attack. The premise is that FMC relocates with her husband and toddler daughter for his hospital admin job. His widowed mother insists on moving in with them to help with the baby. The house has a mother-in-law suite with its own entrance. At first, it seems like free childcare, but FMC starts noticing her daughter is distant with her. Interesting. Her husband takes his mother's side in every argument, and items in her home are moved or disappearing. FMC suspects mother-in-law is trying to replace her, but everyone thinks her postpartum anxiety is flaring up again. That's interesting. I feel like this is a very common type story, like the whole monster in law type story. I wonder what the twist is. So, major twist: the mother in law has been microdosing her coffee with her old prescription medications to make her seem erratic. And then the final twist is that he knew. he's helping. His mother convinced him that she isn't fit to be a mother, and they're building case to take custody of the daughter. The previous daughter in law tried to warn her. That's who Simone really is, which I'm guessing the mother in law is, because is the name is Simone. Oh, new friend, neighbor. Oh, the neighbor is the previous daughter in law. Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't they know that? Like, wouldn't that would be weird? I don't know if that would work because she's supposed to be the neighbor or a new friend. Or maybe it's probably a new friend. Yeah, like maybe somebody just came into her life. That's interesting. The influencer's wife. A woman moves to a picture perfect neighborhood where all the wives are mommy influencers. They want her to join. They want her to join their content whether she wants to or not. FMC moves with her husband, TechX, to upscale planned community. No kids. She's had a hysterectomy after cervical cancer. The neighborhood wives all run coordinated lifestyle content and pressure her to participate. At first, it seems like a typical suburban BS, but FMC notices the women film everything, including inside her house, when they stop by. When she refuses to participate, things escalate. Negative posts about her, implied threats, suspicious accidents. She suspects they're hiding something big, but her refusal to be filmed is a problem. So, what's the twist? Oh, that is a big twist. Madison's husband, Christopher, is using the wives' content to identify wealthy homes to rob. The constant filming creates a map of valuables and security systems. And then the final twist is the husband, Tyler, knew about the scheme, took the job specifically to get into the neighborhood. He's a part of it. The hysterectomy information, they researched her before the move to ensure she wouldn't have complications like kids that could expose them. That's interesting. I feel like, that would be really good to like. I don't know about this part though, the hysterectomy information. Like, I don't know. So the artist's residency, a woman follows her painter husband to a remote artist colony for his residency. I Oh my god, there's so many, right? I asked for 10. I forgot. Uh I really like the first one. Okay. I think I'm going to copy this and paste it into the notes. So you guys can see the different concepts for the other stories and such. I personally feel like I made up my mind in going with the first one. Um, it's been about an hour. I'm getting kind of tired. um, so I think this is a really good start to this series. I'll definitely be keeping this up consistently, and I'll be putting this information all on the the Notion page. I'm gonna make sure like it's all gonna be on YouTube so everybody can have access to it. Um, it sucks because like, it really kind of shows that like it takes a lot of time to set up some brainstorming ideas and get like a really good one. And it's kind of interesting that we got like a good one right off the bat. Um, so, does anybody have any questions for me? We're obviously going to dive deeper into like finagling with the concept and, getting into more character development ideas and archetypes and the setting and, description and such before we even go into YFD. It's just that it's been about an hour. And I didn't think I was gonna last this long. So, is there any questions for you that you guys have? Yes, more character, definitely. Character is a big thing when it comes to working with AI. The more you kind of put into your character, the more human and realistic that they do become. But a big problem that I do find with AI that I'm trying to work with and try to finagle it is that, if you put a tick or a quirk of like biting their nails when they're nervous or like um pushing up their glasses, like apparently they push up their glasses 5 times in every chapter. So, that is definitely going to be something that I'm going to be looking out for with YFD and finagling with that. And maybe please show next time how to individualize dialogue. Yep, that'll also be with character development and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely be something with character development. I tend to with YFD, we're gonna work with the worksheet. I like to kind of get my ideas down within like Claude or ChatGPT, and then I can create a markdown of for the worksheet to import it into YFD. So I work outside of YFD a lot before I import into it. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so thank you for joining me, you guys. This has been a blast. We're gonna have so much fun trying to write this story and edit this story and go through it and really kind of dive deep into it. Um, you can always reach me through Discord. Um, Discord through the Future Fiction Academy. If you are not part of the community, what you waiting for? I'm kidding. But like, yeah, like if you have any questions, um, you can always contact me through Discord, or if you can always reach me through Dean as well. But yeah, have a good rest of your day wherever you are, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night. And have a good one.